The history of the English language in 5 minutes. A long time ago, there was no English. People in England spoke a language called Celtic, but things began to change around 450 AD when groups called the Angles, Saxons, and the Jutes came to England from Northern Europe. These people spoke a language called Old English. It was very different from the English we speak today, but many of our everyday words come from this time, like house, water, and food. Over the next few hundred years, England was invaded again, this time by the Vikings from Scandinavia. The Vikings brought their own words, and Old English started to mix with these new words. For example, words like egg and sky come from the Vikings. Then, in 1066, something big happened. The Normans from France conquered England. They spoke French, and suddenly many French words entered the English language. These words were often used by rich people like court, crown, and castle. The mixing of Old English and French created a new stage of English called Middle English. During this time, English continued to change. One of the most famous books from this period is the Canterbury Tales, written by Geoffrey Chaucer in the 1300s. If you try to read it today, it's quite hard to understand because the language was still evolving. In the 1500s, something else changed English: the invention of the printing press. With books and newspapers being printed, the English language began to standardize. People were writing and reading more, and spelling became more consistent. This was the beginning of modern English, which we still speak today, although it has continued to evolve. By the 1600s, thanks to writers like William Shakespeare, English became rich with new words and phrases. Shakespeare created over 1,700 new words that we still use, like eyeball, fashionable, and lonely. Later, English spread all over the world due to British colonization. As people in countries like America, India, and Australia started speaking English, they added their own words and phrases. That's why we have different accents and sometimes different words for the same thing. For example, in America, they say truck, but in England, they say lorry. Today, English is spoken by millions of people around the world. It has borrowed words from many other languages and it continues to change. New words are added every year, especially with the rise of the internet and social media. So, the next time you speak English, remember you're speaking a language that has traveled through time, from the Angles and the Saxons to Shakespeare and beyond. It's always changing, and you are part of that change.